salesperson involved in the activity. Painting in a market poses many problems in the sense that you are in a hub of activity with people coming and going, doing their everyday business, and you find that working in such conditions is more difficult than being in an isolated location. This particular painting was executed in extreme circumstances. It was quite a bright, cold day, and this poses problems as regards the utilization of your hands, especially for the circulation, and you have to either clap them together or find a source of heat, such as a fire, which luckily enough this day was actually in the market, so I had the opportunity of going and warming up my fingers and getting the circulation going again so I could carry on working. One of the joys of working in Rome is the fact that there are so many areas in which you can actually work, whether it's in the piazza or whether it's by a fountain or just simply walking up the Spanish steps. It is a bustling city of life, and there's an opportunity almost on every hand's turn to do a painting. You're spoilt for choice. Walking on from the Spanish steps, there are the most marvellous views across the roofs of Rome, with St. Peter's in the background. I came around the corner into the park of the Villa Borghese, one of the oldest parks in Rome, and there I found a colourful scene of a balloon stand with the balloons floating in the air, all colours, shapes and sizes of characters from cartoon to floating horses. Behind it, a carousel with children playing around it, and it made an ideal composition to create a colourist work. It contained the primary colours, red, yellow and blue, the heart of a colourist painting. This combination made for an active, vigorous work. All in all, a difficult atmosphere to catch, but I endeavoured to do so. The finished painting ended up having a harmony of colour, which was what I attempted to achieve from the start. So I was relatively satisfied. I went to Spain for a number of reasons. One was to find the sense of spirituality that exists there in Christian culture, which has survived for the past almost 2,000 years in a certain area around Santiago. This church would be one of the hundreds that would be along the route of the Camino of Santiago. They were dotted from village to village, and the route itself just meanders across the countryside from one town to the next. This particular church back to Santiago would take about 6-7 days to walk. The medieval notion of going on the Camino de Santiago was to gain indulgence and to develop a spirituality to help your soul get to heaven. I think this is reinterpreted nowadays as a uplifting of one's own spirituality. Those who do it are searching for their own heart and their own soul, and it is certainly a good method of doing so, because on it you have time to think. You don't have time to waste, because you're always on the path and you're always walking. I went in search of various spots which I might do a painting which would give an idea of the journey, the type of journey that the pilgrims would have taken. And I came across a situation where there was a Roman bridge, an ancient Roman bridge spanning a river with a little church and hamlet, and it was ideal from the viewpoint of a landscape which was capable of being painted for itself as a landscape, and also in the fact that it incorporated so many of the important ingredients of the Camino. Of course, the whole thing about the Camino and about Santiago Compostela is that the path is supposed to be the path of truth, which is connected to the cosmos, and this is probably what it actually functions as at the present day. There remains in this world a lot of spirituality, despite the fact that the world has become so materialistic. You need a spirituality in your life to actually get a real benefit out of life, and I think it's becoming more and more evident all the time that people have to revert back to nature and to the idea of natural spirituality as distinct from just religious spirituality. Creativity is certainly, for me, it's the most important thing as regards getting spirituality, but I also find that searching for places and things that give me a spiritual sense are important to my quest for artistic creativity. I did a number of studies of the external of the cathedral from outside, but the real soul and spirituality of Santiago is within the cathedral. Kilkenny was quite lucky in the sense that it had two very, very active societies. One was the Kilkenny Archaeological Society and the other was the Kilkenny Art Society. I did take a lot of interest in what went on with the Kilkenny Archaeological Society and Art Society from a very early age, and was taken on trips. There were lots of trips, field trips or visiting trips which were organised by them, and my mother would take me along on them. We went and visited places like Newgrange and Tara. The Art Society in Kilkenny would take off for a day, get